Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. I'm live from the Beehive. I'm going to talk for a little bit because it takes a while for people to find me and the notice to go out that I'm finally live. So I'm just going to blab a little bit. So last week we had a bit of a wild week. We had a nor'easter. Is what they call the big storms that come through the northeast coast, and we had a nor'easter, and we had really high winds, and a tree came down in our neighborhood. Luckily, no one was hurt, and actually the damage, there was no structural damage to any houses or anything like that either, so that's good. But it blocked our street completely off and took down power lines because we have overhead power lines. We're in a kind of old neighborhood. And we were without power for 24 hours. So, you know, I can't remember the last time I've lost power for that long. And it's really kind of interesting how, you know, all those little things that you take for granted, like hot showers, lights, cooking, although we do have a gas cooktop, so we were able to do a little bit of improvised cooking, so that was nice. But heat, because it's still winter here in the Boston area, so our house inside was like around 50 degrees, and that was a little cold, so we were walking around with our jackets on, and it took them on Saturday, it took them about 6 hours to put up a new telephone pole and get those lines back up, and I'm so grateful for everyone who came and fixed our power outage. And once we got everything back up, it was so nice to take a hot shower. So I'm feeling very grateful right now that I have power and I can do this Facebook Live. We have an internet connection and all of that. So I'm so grateful to have you here with me today. And this week, I guess tomorrow, we're getting another nor'easter. So yay! Just when you think you're heading out of winter, you know, you get some more storms coming, but hopefully this one won't be as bad as the one that we just had. I think if you have a storm and you're able to retain power and everyone's okay and, you know, nothing's fallen on your house, and I think it's all good. It's, you know, I don't mind a little storm just as long as no one gets hurt. Anyway. So that's my blabbing for today, but today it's Casing Tuesday, and it's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover, and we have some bloggers that, you know, will show us different versions of the card, like myself. I always do a version as well. So the cool thing about it is that you can join us on our Facebook group, and the link is in the description of this video. If you're not already a member, you can click on that and we will approve you and you can join in the fun. So you can, you know, take the card that we are copying for the week and you can recreate it, and then you can post it and we can comment on it, and it's kind of fun. So because I did a lot of blabbing and we have to do a lot of die cutting on my card today, I think we should get started. So I'm going to flip the camera around. If you have any questions while I am talking, I will make sure I answer them back. I'm just looking to see. Hello, everyone that has joined me this morning. Let me flip my camera around and let's get started on this card. There's my view this morning. It's kind of a gray day. I think we're going to get some sunshine though. I'm hoping we'll get some sunshine because tomorrow we're going to definitely have some maybe snow, maybe rain. I am not sure. Okay, so this is the card right here that we're casing today. It's this beautiful card. I actually really like it. I would probably just case it out of the catalog, but that would be too easy, and I had to do something a little bit different. But don't you just love these beautiful colors of this card? It is a beautiful card, but it's also a layout that we can use. You know, this like anything that you can cut out and layer on the side. You just add a little greeting to, you know, the square portion. So it is kind of a useful layout, and it is a very, very pretty card. It uses this stamp set that comes with this framelit. A great stamp set with lots of different greetings in it. But I'm going to use, out of the Occasions catalog, I'm using the Petal palette bundle, which is another big stamp set and die bundle. It has lots of great images and greetings, and it has these beautiful framelits that go with it. So that's what I used to create my version of the card. And it was kind of, you know, I was thinking of spring blossoms, so that's kind of how, you know, those branches with the little blossoms on it, that's how this was kind of inspired. So how did I make it? So I started off with some powder pink cardstock. I didn't use powder pink ink pad because when I stamped it on the powder pink, it was a little bit too light, and I wanted the detail of the blossoms to pop a little bit more, so I went a shade darker, which would be my Blushing Bride ink pad. And I just took the little blossom and I just inked it up and stamped it down. I'm just going to do a couple just in case I mess up on my die cutting, then I have a few extra to cut on. So I've already cut out a few of these blossoms, so I don't have to die cut them all on camera. I think that's all I need to do before we actually get into die cutting, because this one's a very die cut intensive card. I'm using today just my regular platform, and if you've bought a newer Big Shot, like we used to have the Big Shot that had, like, you know, the openings on them. This newer platform, which I love, comes in 2 different pieces. It's just a little bit easier to, you know, handle. So we're going to be using both pieces with a thin die adapter on top, and we need a cutting plate. And then we're going to start off by cutting these little blossoms. And of course we have a little blossom die. So I'm just going to stick this on here. This is not my magnetic platform, so I've got to be a little bit more careful when I'm putting this down and putting this down so I don't shift things. So if you don't have the magnetic platform, then when you put it down, just kind of make sure you're putting it down straight. And I kind of keep my thumb or some pressure on the cutting plate so it doesn't shift while it's going through. And that usually helps kind of keep it in place. Yeah, here is my little blossom. And I've already cut out 2 of those, so we didn't have to do that again. So my little blossom just went for a little vacation there. Then we're going to need 2 of these branches in the old olive. So I've already cut one out, but I'll do one here on camera. So we're using this branchy piece. And you know, that's what die cutting is so great about, great for, is this detail, because I mean, who would ever fussy cut something like that? I mean, that would be just really hard to do. So I'm just going to put this on here. I'm going to run this through twice. So once and then twice. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just close my laptop because it's beeping. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it annoys me, so I'm not sure if it will annoy you. All right, so this just kind of came sliding off, and I can throw away this piece. And then I'm just going to peel off this piece right here, and that is our little branchy piece. Okay, so I've already cut a second one of those, so I don't need to do that. Then we need to cut some squares. I've got a piece of Soft Sky and a piece of Whisper White, and I'm using my layering squares framelits. I love these because they layer up just like the name says. Now you can cut like a plain square by yourself, but what is harder to cut is a window. So these are nice when you're cutting windows, but since I need a scallop square, I'm also going to use one of the smooth squares from that collection. And I'm going to do the second largest smooth square and the largest scallop square. Oops, just just get that situated. Yep. So the magnetic platform kind of helps anchor things down a little better, but you can definitely do it with a thin die adapter. Okay, so let's just run that through real quick. Someone said the other day that I should do these on an angle. So if I had done these, I'll show you. If I had done these a little bit like this on an angle, it helps with that really big noise, like the clunk noise, and it also helps make it easier to roll through. I should have done it like that, and it would have been a little easier. So here's my smooth square, and here's my scallop square. And the scallop square would be really hard to cut, hand cut, so it's nice to have those dies. Let me think. Oh, no, I need to do one more thing. One more thing. I need to emboss the front of my card. So I'm getting rid of my thin die adapter. I'm going to take my card base, which is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and I've scored it in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. I am taking, you know, we used this embossing folder last week, and do you think I can remember the name of the embossing folder? It's like something like polka dots? Polka dots? I don't know. Again with the name forgetting. So we've had so many different types of dot folders over the years, but big dots, polka dots, I need to look it up. Does anyone know? If you know the name of my embossing folder that I keep forgetting the name of, you can mention it, and then I will mention it on camera. I'm not going to look it up right now. It is in the supply list. I did put it in my supply list, but I don't remember the name. So the key with this, because this embossing folder is about the width of your card, you want to make sure that you line it up properly so that you don't have weird dots on the side. It's a little bit longer, but you'll want to make sure that the end of your folder lines up with your score line right here. So that's kind of just one little trick you need to do. Then I've got rid of my thin die adapter. We're on the base platform. We'll need a cutting plate. Need another cutting plate, and then we're going to send this through. Polka Dot Basics. Thank you, Janine. Polka Dot Basics embossing folder. Why can't I never remember that? I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, so we're done with the big shot. So now we just kind of need to do a little bit of stamping and assembling. So let me grab out my little pieces. Okay, so let's stamp on here. This is my Whisper White piece, and I'm just going to take my soft suede ink pad. I did a little creative surgery on my stamp. Originally, it looked like this, Best Wishes, like this. I trimmed around the edge, and then I cut them apart. So now I can, you know, have it as, you know, side by side, or I can have it on top of each other. So it gives it a little bit more versatility. Don't be scared to cut your stamps. Some people don't like to, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. So I'm just going to ink this up in the soft suede, and I'm going to stamp it down here at the bottom, just like that. And let's see, what shall we do next? Trying to decide what the best strategy is. Yeah, I think we can start to assemble. So I'm going to use some Tombow today. I'm going to grab this piece. We'll start with a little bit of Tombow on the back. This is my regular Whisper White, so you want to use like really very, very light Tombow on here. I'm just going to layer these two pieces up. One more thing we're going to need is we're going to need a piece of doily. So this is a 1/4 doily. So I just cut it into 4 pieces. I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow right on the back part of this. And then I'm just going to kind of just line this up and press it down just so it peeks out down at the bottom like that. And then I can glue this piece down a little bit down here. And this, I pretty much just centered it. So yeah, I centered the square rather than the doily. So just kind of eyeball it a bit and kind of center it like that. So now, how do I get these little guys to go? So you will want to lay it out. So I've got one branch kind of coming this way and my other branch going this way. So you just kind of want to lay it out first and see how it's going to go. So, you know, these branches are kind of coming around my little best wishes like that. So I'm going to add some Tombow to the back of here. Kind of strategic spots, kind of at the end of branches, maybe a little bit down the stem. I know we sell adhesive sheets too. You can run that through with your die, and that can make it easier if you if you would prefer to have the adhesive on there when it's already cut. I love Tombow, so I'm just going with the Tombow. So I'm going to just kind of nest this around my greeting and then tap it down. And then with this one, I'm going to do the same thing. That was a lot of Tombow right there. Sometimes I get a little bit, make sure that's the right way. Yeah. It would have been kind of too late if it wasn't the right way. Yep. Okay. All right. Let me flip this around. And I don't want it to overlap exactly, so I kind of want it to come down. I kind of want the stems to kind of come together though a little bit because I want to put that ribbon on the bottom. So let me just tap that down. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I just need to add the blossoms. Oh, and I need dimensionals for that. I did not put these on the supply list. I know that. I'll have to add that afterwards. But these are mini dimensionals. Oh, before we do that, where did my little flower go? Oh, what? What? I know I probably flipped it up, and you're probably saying, oh, it's there somewhere. But where is my extra little flower? Ack. It is just, it's gone. It made a departure somewhere. It flipped up. All right, I'm missing one of my flower pieces, but we'll just make do. But before I stick these on, there's a little trick because I kind of wanted them to look like blossoms. So I just did a little bit of, I added a little bit of the, marker. So let me just grab my little marker. You can use like one of our journaling pens if you want. That's probably the easiest, or a marker. And basically what I just did is I kind of just flicked up 3 times. So I just went 1, 2, 3 to kind of give it like it's not supposed to be perfect and random. There wasn't a center stamp for these flowers, so I kind of just did that. And now I just really don't know where my flower went. Okay, well, this card's going to have 2 flowers in it, unless I can find my other floral. These are my little mini dimensionals. I love these guys. They were new in the catalog this year, in the annual catalog, and they're just a little bit smaller than our other ones, and they fit on there better, so you don't have to cut your little dimensionals up into like pieces. All right, no one saw where I flicked my little flower, huh? Because there were 3. I swear there were 3. They're just gone. Okay, this card is going to have 2 flowers on it right now, unless I want to die cut another one. And then I'm going to use some of this powder pink shimmer ribbon, and I'm just going to tie this into a knot. Sometimes a knot is better than a bow because it's a little less bulky, especially when you're using a thicker ribbon. If you're trying to tie a small bow with thick ribbon for a card, it sometimes just does not look quite right. So that's why I'm just going with one little knot. It's a little less bulky, and then I'll come in and I'll just snip that. And then I'll use one of my mini glue dots, put it on the knot like that, and then we can just add this to the bottom of the card like that. I really think it probably looks better with 3 flowers on it. I'll have to fix that afterwards. Oh, it's annoying me. But anyway, there's the card. And it's, you know, just kind of along the same idea as the card that we started with, you know, just a bouquet on the side. I liked some of the samples today that use different things. So it's always neat to see what someone else will come up with, you know, with this particular layout. But if you're not, like, I wasn't terribly creative, I just kind of recreated a bouquet on the side, you know, that's just great too, because this is a very nice card. I think it would make a great wedding card, you know, if you did best wishes, or you could do a birthday card. It could be a birthday card too, right? With the best wishes on it. So, you know, you could do it up in different ways. Thank you, Catherine. I'm glad you liked the card. Well, I don't see any questions, but let me turn myself around. All right. Bring in my chair, bring in me. Okay. All right. So what you should do today is go and case this card. Give it a makeover. Go to our Facebook, check it out, Facebook group. Check out what other people have done. Maybe just lurk there if you want to, or get into your craft room or your craft area or whatever and make something. And don't be shy. I mean, if you're starting out, that's fine, because we all started somewhere. And it's great. The only way that you're going to get better at stamping is if you practice. And one of the best ways to practice doing a card is to take someone else's card and try and recreate it. That is my best advice to you, is to start somewhere. Use a sample to start and do it. Now, if you're one of those stampers who's been stamping for a while, maybe you've taken a break from stamping, then it's also a great time to jump in and case a card, you know, and, you know, try it, copy it exactly if you have to, or copy it as closely as you can with the supplies that you have. And then for people like me who stamp all the time, this is great. I did not pick this card to case. This was someone else's choice. So I had to be creative and create this card using my supplies, using my vision for the card. So it's great for all levels of stampers, and it's fun to stamp the same thing as everyone else, because then you're kind of part of a group, part of a thing. So I hope you will go out and case this card today and post it so that I can give you a comment and let you know what I think of your card. And don't worry, we are always kind. It's supposed to be a supportive group. It's not a group where we tear apart our cards and analyze them or anything like that. It is supposed to be a fun group. So I hope you guys all have a great week. I hope you're not going to be stuck in a storm or anything like that. But I will see you back here next week, and I have no idea what we're casing next week, but I will be back here. So have a great week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.